I'm called to order the Town of Unicoi Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting for.
You're not live yet.
Oh, I thought I was live.
No, it's going live, but I always give you a heads up because I don't know when it's gonna hit. Now you're live.
Right here. This is good. This gavel's good right here.
Now you're live.
Going to call to order the Town of Unicoi Board of Mayor and Aldermen meetings for Thursday, January 21st, 2021. Roger Cooper, Vice Mayor, would you give the invocation, please? And then I will lead the pledge.
Well, first and Father, Lord, we thank you for letting us be able to come have this meeting tonight. We pray for safety and keep us all safe from COVID-19. We pray, Lord, for the caregivers that are helping their families and sick people through this time, Lord. We ask you to give us guidance and wisdom in all that we do tonight. Just name we pray on that.
Amen. Okay, now we'll start the pledge. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Alderman Bennett. Here. Alderman Radford. Here. Alderman Rain. Here. Vice Mayor Cooper.
Here.
Mayor Bullen.
Here. The next item is going to need a motion. There has been an item desired to be added to the agenda after it was published to the public. We can amend the agenda now, and then we'll address the added item that we need a motion to approve the, to amend the agenda.
I make the motion to amend the motion, or amend the agenda, amend the
We're
agenda.
just, okay.
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. We've had a motion and a second to amend the agenda to include some discussion on utilities at the County Unicoi Maintenance Building. Anybody have any questions? We'll discuss the topics later. Is there any discussion about amending the agenda? No.
Alderman Bennett.
Yes.
Alderman Radford.
Yes.
Alderman Rain.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper.
Yes.
Mayor Bullen.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we included in your packet for the minutes from prior meeting. Have everyone had an opportunity to review those? If everyone is okay with the minutes, then we need a motion for approval.
I make a motion for approval for December 21st, 2020 BMA minutes. Second.
All right. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, let's vote.
Alderman Bennett.
Yes.
Alderman Radford.
Yes.
Alderman Rain.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper.
Yes.
Mayor Bullen.
Yes. Okay, we have some special presentations tonight. The first special presentation is going to be conducted by our chief, Andy Slagle.
It was last week, we got, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office came to the department, and they give out some yearly awards across the state. And we were blessed enough to have officers recognized by Tennessee Highway Safety Office. The first one was Aaron Embler, got awarded Officer of the Year, who was Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Officer of the Year also, was Jay Elliott. This is a pretty big award. They were, they definitely earned it. Aaron and Jay definitely make a difference every single day. So.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Thank you all. You're not gonna do it?
I would like smile when you get there.
No, you can't see it. Okay, the next Presentation is a proclamation for Unicoi School Choice Week. Whereas all children in Unicoi should have access to high quality education possible. Whereas Unicoi recognizes the important role that an effective education plays in preparing all students in Unicoi to be successful adults. And whereas while quality education is important to economic vitality in Unicoi, and whereas Unicoi is home to a multiple of high-quality public and non-public schools from which parents can choose for their children, in addition to families who educate their children at home. And whereas educational variety not only helps to diversify our economy, but it also enhances the vibrancy of our community. And whereas Unicoi has many high-quality teaching professionals in all types of school settings who are committed to educating our children. And whereas School Choice Week was celebrated across the country by millions of students, parents, educators, schools, and organizations to raise awareness of the need for effective educational options. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Kathy Rowland, do hereby recognize January 24th, 2021 through January 30, 2021 as Unicoi School Choice Week, and I call this as an observance to the attention of all of our citizens. And there's a proclamation posted right there in the back. So that was that proclamation, and we're definitely proud of our schools and everybody invested in our schools. Presentation, Bart Ray, Unicoi Search and Rescue.
We like that.
Oh, it says Bart Ray right here, but that's okay. You're gonna yield your time to the gentleman like that. You got the floor,
Thank you,
however
Matt.
you need it.
My name's Mike Adams. I'm the current team leader coordinator for Unicoi County Search and Rescue. And you want to pass these out, please? First of all, thank you for the opportunity. We're trying to get our name out to the community more or less to know what we actually do, what we stand for, and why we're here. Actually, you can go ahead and keep going. I'll try not to bore you with a lot of these. Let me start off with a little background on who we are and where we are today. Back in February of 2020, a lot of folks were familiar with Unicoi Mountain Search and Rescue. We were members. Several of our members are now with us at Unicoi County Search and Rescue. We learned, several members, including myself, learned that the team leader of Unicoi Mountain had, for lack of better, hadn't fulfilled his agreement for that team. We learned that our 501 had expired with IRS, our charter had expired, and the worst of all is we had zero insurance on equipment and or personnel. No tax returns have been filed with the IRS for several years. So once we learned that, I went to an attorney, talked to him. So this is what we got. How do we remedy it? And at his advice, he said, "You're done with that one. If you go back under Unicoi Mountain, the IRS is going to penalize you for not following those returns." So we started Unicoi County Search and Rescue. While the same members came over, and that's how we got to where we're at today. Our goal, this is what we are. We're volunteers, but I like to say we're professionals because we are professionals. We may be volunteers, but we're professional volunteers. What we do, we'll dive into that a little bit deeper. I'll try to go quick because I'm sure you guys have a full agenda. Our goal is to train personnel that are specialized at what we do. You can go ahead, Ashley. All right, so this is some of the stuff we do. Obviously, wilderness search and rescue. You guys probably know more about this county than I do. You know how vast this county is. Urban search and recovery. A lot of people don't take that into consideration. They think these guys just go off in the wilderness and do what they need to do. Natural disasters and man-made disasters. That's what we train for as well. Following in this urban, through national organizations, that's where a lot of your dementia and Alzheimer's patients walk-offs fall. is in that urban environment. And of course, swift water rescue and technical rope rescue. Right now, we got 25 members, 6 SAR techs, and I'll dive into that a little bit more. We have a junior program. We currently have 3 junior members. We're really grateful for those guys and gals. That's the future of this team. When Bart and I are too old to get out there and do that, this is the folks that's going to take our place. Nationally certified. One thing that when we reorganized and they said, hey, you be the team leader, I said, I will be the team leader, but I have something to ask of everybody else. We're going to take it from where it was at to up here. I'm a firm believer in training and education. The national certification, we are working, we've got several that are already certified, but we're working on that national certification through National Association for Search and Rescue. It's a national standard across the board that all the SAR teams follow. We have some folks that are trained in wilderness first responders. A lot of times we're there, obviously, before the medical folks get there and have to start our procedures. We're currently working with Adam Copus from EMS. He's got a gentleman, one of his employees that's working on his certification to be able to teach the basic EMT. Our group's going to be the first one that goes through that for him. That's our goal, is to get everybody certified on teams, at least the basic EMT. Anytime we go out, we're self-sustainable for 24 to 72 hours, depending on the mission. Meaning we can leave our vehicle when we go to the woods and we're comfortable for 24 hours and up to 72 hours. Of course, I put a grammar shot in there, all of us. That's a recent hike we did up in Rocky Ford, just to get some folks familiar with the area, the trails. Some of our area of responsibility, a lot of people don't realize we've got 50 miles of Appalachian Trail that flows through Unicoi County. On a yearly basis, we average 2 or 3 through hikers that fall ill. They hit the Giardia or Cryptosporidium where they drink bad water, and it's up to us to go get them off the trail. 8 miles of the Millichucky River. That 8 miles is some of the most heavily populated as far as the whitewater river enthusiasts go from the gorge down. That's in our area of responsibility. Of course, Rocky Fork State Park, we work very close with the rangers at the park. And then, of course, we have the Pinnacle up here. That's one I didn't add. You know, that's a big one. We've had average, you know, maybe 2. I think we had 2 calls on the Pinnacle last year. A lot of people don't know this, and it's a big deal for me and the team. We are the only entity in Unicoi County that is certified, nationally certified for swift water and flood rescue and recovery. We're the only entity in Unicoi County that has the proper equipment to do that. I'm really proud of that accomplishment. When we reorganized, we had 6 folks go through Rescue 3 International Swift Water and Flood Rescue Program. They spent 40 hours in the water of the Millichucky River training. This is a recent call we had with the Swift Water team. Can't remember if it was before Christmas or after Christmas. It was right around Christmas week. Up Spivey Mountain up the road. Obviously, this guy went off and flipped upside down, and that's what we're here for. A lot of people think, yeah, it's not a big deal, but when air temperature is 16 degrees and water temperature is about 40 degrees, if you don't have the proper training and equipment to get in that water, then you become part of the problem. One of our canines on the team, Finn, he's a type 3 human remains detector canine. He's my dog. He's a good asset for the team to have. We also have 2 other dogs that are I call them adjunct members to the team on another team that I'm associated with. They've been up and helped us quite a bit when needed. Some equipment that we have that we utilize, we recently were blessed through the Unicoi County Healthcare Foundation to get some equipment. We've got 2 Can-Am Defenders. One of them is equipped solely for patient transport. It's equipped with a Stokes mount in the back of it and an EMT or provider seat. Shall we need to transport somebody that's not ambulatory out? We have another Can-Am Defender that's set up as a personnel equipment transport unit. And then 2 Can-Am Outlander ATVs. We have 2 paddle rafts, what I call paddle raft, doesn't have a motor on it for the swift water environments. And we also have a Zodiac motorboat, which is designed for swift water as well. Again, we're the only entity that has that equipment in this county. More of our hype, we talked about man tracking and looking for sign on people that's wandered off. So January 1 to present, and that has changed. We had 20 missions. And understand our missions, when we leave on a mission, most of our missions are legitimate calls. Total of 205 man hours. And a note in comparing entities, doing research, we had the same amount of calls as the fire department over here had, as far as fire calls. Now, that doesn't include, car wrecks for them. When you look at their primary function, they had 20 fire calls. 880 hours in training. We train once a month. Training varies on what we actually cover. A lot of them don't know it, but the next meeting, I'm going to present that we do 2 times a month during the next several months to try to get some of our new members up to speed. Now, this is the biggie right here. MESAR, National Association for Search and Rescue, done this study, and this is what they come up with. When you have somebody to volunteer, where it be search and rescue, the fire department, whatever, they say their worth is $24.14 an hour. And then the mileage is 14 cents. Another study they did is the volunteers in this, and I'm sure it falls right along lines with the fire service as well, is their out-of-pocket yearly expense is $1,000. And been doing this a long time, and Bart and I have had this conversation many times. I'd say that's a fair statement. That's a very fair statement. Where are we going? Our goals, we're currently working with Unicoi 911, Mike King. Mike and I have been in many conversations over what we're doing out there. Our goal, working together, we're going to do the GIS mapping of all the hiking trails. And basically what we're going to do is take the Pinnacle, for example, is we're going to walk that trail with our GPS units, and every, whatever we decide, 100 meters, we're going to set a waypoint on our GPS. We're going to name it waypoint 1 on the Pinnacle Trail. Do the whole trail. We'll take that back to Mike. He's going to download that into their system and overlay it in their GIS mapping system that comes up when somebody calls 911. And they get a coordinate off cell phone or a landline, whatever, that shows them that map. Well, that's what we're wanting to accomplish with these trails. So that when that person calls in and says, I've fallen and broken my leg on the Pinnacle, they can take that cell phone ping location, overlay it with our GPS mapping that we got, and they can tell us he's 50 meters from waypoint 1 on the Pinnacle Trail. That obviously is going to cut down our response time finding this person. So and it's going to be a lengthy process. It's not something we're going to accomplish in a month or anything. Trail adoption. Bart and I and some of the other members have talked about this. I'm big on getting out in the public, and unfortunately the pandemic just squashed that this year totally for us. And that's one of the reasons I'm here tonight, is to present this to the town. As a search team, we would like to adopt the Pinnacle Trail. We want to say, hey, this is our trail, and what we're going to give the town for that, number one, we're going to maintain that trail. A couple, 3 times a year at least, we're going to walk that trail top to bottom. We're going to look for those trip hazards, whatever we need to do, whether it's putting a new blaze up where the actual trail is. And also going forward with that, one thing I would like to see, if you guys are in agreement with this and it works out, is I would like to have those community days up there on Saturdays where it's publicized that, hey, the search team's gonna be there and they're gonna lead a hike to the tower and back. And what we wanna do with that is educate the public. We wanna use that as an opportunity to say, hey, guys, you look at this, and some people do, some people don't. As a little hike, I'm gonna walk to the fire tower and back down. Well, this is what you need to have, even though you consider this an easy hike. Please have this gear with you. In the search and rescue community, we call that preventative SAR. If we can educate folks on, even though you think this is a simple day hike, put these 10 items in your backpack in case you get lost, you get hurt, you're gonna have to hunker down for a little bit, you'll be prepared. Go back one more. Sorry. The community outreach, that falls along the lines of that. We did, and when I say I speak on behalf of the whole team. We had big plans that we wanted to do, but obviously the pandemic really struck that down. We have been in talks with Laura Elliott. Some of you folks may know her, the Irwin Buzz or whatever. Excuse me. And yeah, UC First, I'm sorry. She's done a lot for the first responders in the area. She reached out to me about doing some kids programs. And I said, I'm all for it, but now's probably not the time with the pandemic. I had talked to Tim Ferris at the park about it. He says, absolutely, I'm on board. We'll run it through the state. We'll use the park to do this and have a field day for kids and get these kids out in the woods and try to do things with them. So we're trying. Okay. There's a pitch to everything, right? Everybody knows that. Back under Unicoi Mountain, they would fund the agency $5,000 a year. When the whole restructure took place, realizing the 501 was out of date, our charter had expired, we didn't get that money. We went back to them. Bart actually went back to them after we got straightened out. He said, hey, we would like to get that $5,000. Right now, the only funding we have received is little over $4,000 from the county. One of the reasons I like to do this is I want the county as a whole, the governments to realize the importance of a search team. I don't want, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but I want people to see Unicoi County Search and Rescue. I don't want them to see Unicoi Mountain Search and Rescue because it's not the same. Talk about professionalism. We're a professional organization now. Going back to money, Bart spoke with someone at the town about that, and they said, nope, that was for Unicoi Mountain. We're not giving it to Unicoi County. Sorry, got a lot. So we're here for the pitch. We talked about our equipment, what we do, the importance of what we do. This is a breakdown. We need a vehicle. We've got 2 vehicles that, I'll be perfectly honest with you, when I get the call from dispatch and we've got to go out, that's one of the first things that crosses my mind is those vehicles going to make it to where we need to go. We're going to all 3 governments. I come up with what I think is a fair percentage for each of the governments. Obviously, Unicoi County covers most of it. When I say county, the commission in a whole. The price of this vehicle is $37,134. We're asking for 15% from the town. Comes out to $5,570. Obviously, going to approach the town of Irwin and then Unicoi County as a whole for their percentage. We're at the point that we're going to have to do something with our vehicles. Bart will tell you. We're set up that as far as Swiftwater gear or mountain gear, we're in good shape there. It's just that vehicle that's what we're hurting.
sometimes we got our personal vehicles just for the fact we know we'll get on the next day.
Absolutely.
Just after on
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
jumping right off of that, if y'all, where's y'all's home base? Where's your equipment?
So our equipment right now, we are fortunate enough that Duncan Mechanical's letting us borrow a warehouse space from them.
Okay, so y'all are,
It's Noachuk Avenue across the library.
Yep.
okay,
We got probably 4,000 square foot building for $0.
okay. So y'all go there and get the vehicle.
Correct.
How do you transport your ATVs and what?
We've got trailers.
Okay, you do put them, you put
We
all
do
of
have
them on
trailers that they
trailers.
sit on, and that's,
I was just, I had to have a
Just
visual.
keep in mind.
I'm sorry, I should
No,
have
that's
told you.
all right.
Keep
I
in
needed
mind,
to
we
get-
have members throughout the county,
Yeah,
which is a great thing, because, for instance, if we have a call on Pinnacle, and I'm in Irwin, and Mike works out of Johnson City, if I'm in Irwin, I go ahead and pick up equipment, Mike's coming in, Mike reports to the scene.
Right.
So he's there as a hasty person to figure out what's going on as we're transporting.
Right.
It may be that we go to Flag Pond and it's the other way around.
Right.
So we all kind of cross-train for what we do.
okay, you're just kind of always loaded up, ready to.
absolutely. Our stuff's sitting down there ready to go right now.
We carry, between my truck and Mike's truck and 4 other members, the 6 of us are certified for Swiftwater. So we're all carrying between those 6 members about $7,000 or $8,000 worth of equipment in our personal vehicles every day, waiting for that call from dispatch. Not only that, we have our other gear for wilderness rescue or whatever, medical equipment. Then that way, if we show up in our personal vehicle, we still have that much equipment on hand that we can already go to work.
Right, okay.
We try to be prepared. I know a lot of people, and Mike said this, and I'm just gonna say exactly what I think. We don't get a lot of respect because some people think we're not important. But we fill a niche that won't be filled if we don't do it. And we do it because we're so passionate about what we do. I think all of our members, I can speak for every one of them, they're there for a reason.
Right.
It's just not something that they want to do just for fun.
Right.
Just tell us how old these old trucks are. They were hand-me-downs to start with, right?
Absolutely. The one's a 2002.
The green 4-door truck, 2500 Chevrolet, is probably an 02. It came from the Forest Service. It's lime green. The reason the Forest Service gets rid of their vehicles is why? The life of them's already gone. And probably it's been through search and rescue for what, 10, 12 years, 14, I don't know. Last time I drove it, I went in Buffalo's Cove. Time I left the paved road, I went 8.5 miles on the gravel road. And I questioned whether we'd get out that night or not. So our other vehicle's probably an 02, 03 Chevrolet Avalanche 4-door. It's not a truck. It was bought $5,600. It was probably several years old when it was purchased. It's been handed down several times. So as Mike stated, we're getting some smaller equipment that we need actually in the woods, but we need those trucks. We need 2 trucks actually, but we're hoping for 1. Just to get that equipment there. Once we get outfitted with what we need, we have enough personnel to take care of this equipment. We'll be good for 20 years. The only way you'll ever see us again in a meeting asking for money will be yearly money to sustain what we have. Once we're outfitted with vehicles, as far as us bumping money, we'll be done.
I don't want to bring up a touchy subject either, but if there is, were any of the assets that you pulled out of Unicoi? Is the IRS not going to try to seize that?
They are not.
You're
So-
clear on that.
We are clear on that, but I want to tell you, the only assets we had that transferred over was the 2 trucks.
And they may be worth $50, but I mean, they.
All the ones
they-
that be side by sides that we had at the time,
Mhm.
all belong to the sheriff's office. They were letting us use those.
We spent one Saturday, probably 4 or 5 of us. I called the sheriff. I said, Mike, we got some equipment we're going to take back. I said, you know what I'm referencing. And it was all military equipment that the county had received. 2 side-by-sides, a couple of 4-wheelers, and it got to the point where to spend $400 on one of them to fix it was more than what it was. And we would never get them assigned to us from him, so we couldn't put our money into something that we didn't own. So once we took all that back, I mean, it was useless anyway to take out. So as far as what we received, Unicoi Mountain Search and Rescue, those 2 vehicles, and they're not, when you put them out here on the street, nobody will buy them. It's some other smaller assets, but it's not there.
Okay, I just got thinking about that.
Can I just expand on just a comment that you made, Mike? My name's Debbie Kessler. Back in 1920, the town of Unicoi budgeted for Unicoi Mountain $5,000. And I think during the search for Luke, the board increased that amount another 10,000. And not long after that, I think maybe the week after the board approved that, and I don't know the gentleman's name, maybe Danny, came in and asked for the 15,000. Because of cash flow, I really couldn't do 15,000, but I did write a check for 10,000. And after that, you are correct. Bart came in and asked for the remaining $5,000. And the situation that we were in, because the board had approved that for Unicoi Mountain, I could not write a check for $5,000 to another entity.
And I understand that, and I
Okay.
do, it's one of the deciding factors that neither one of us could help, is during that time, y'all had went to virtual meetings. So we couldn't actually come in and explain, and it wasn't your fault, and it wasn't our fault. It was
Right.
just the kind of the way the timing was on it.
Yeah, but if I write a check to an entity that the board did not approve,
We totally,
know,
we totally
yeah,
understand.
okay.
that.
I
And
just
do
wanted to
like
make
it.
sure that you all
Yeah.
understood that.
Yeah, and I completely, and I'm not laying blame on anyone. I don't want you to think I'm laying blame on anyone at all. I'm not doing that. It's just, we talked about the truck, and I'm learning. I've been in the search and rescue business for many years as a volunteer, but I never ran an organization. And I'm learning what it costs to run an organization. Right off the bat, we spent right at $3,000 for insurance of our members in case they got hurt and our equipment. So I'm learning now that this is going to be my budget going forward to cover my expenses plus.
I'm gonna make an assumption that y'all will submit a request as Unicoi County Search and Rescue
Absolutely.
to the town. Are you going to put this inclusion in the request as an addition? Are you gonna separate out what you believe you're operating to be?
Yeah,
And
we'll
then looking
separate it
at
out.
what, so you'll have all this down on paper and submit it to the
Right.
town before we start talking budget. And we'll have all that covered.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Our letters are going out tomorrow, so
Okay.
if I could get your, address, where to mail
Absolutely.
ours after the meeting or whenever,
Okay.
write it down on a piece of paper, I can.
Yeah.
We really need the town of Unicoi help with this. We really need the town of Irwin's help with this to leverage the county for the biggest share of this, because it's very important. Very important. We just can't keep using personal equipment based on the liability the way things are. It's not fair to our members. We were just trying to educate people, especially tonight. This is the first board we've been to. I just don't think a lot of people maybe understand what we do for lack of knowledge. And we do fill a gap. And you can call Adam Copus and he'll tell you firsthand, since he's been here, how much we've worked with him. Sometimes that gap's only a few feet. Sometimes it's a few miles. But we all have to work together to make this happen. And, you might sit back and think, well, they only worked 20 calls this year. You ask yourself if it's you or your family or your friends or your neighbor that's out there one day or not, it's important.
I'd just like to make one comment that they've not covered. They're fulfilling a gap between an injured person or a lost person and our 911 board. Our police officers here in Unicoi County, they're not equipped to go find these people. I mean, they're not dressed for the day to go find these people. But I guarantee you on this team, I've heard this for 20 years, so I can testify what they're talking about. They're after it. When they get that call, they are after it. I mean, they drop whatever they're doing, and if we don't have this team, there's nobody that we've got to fill the gap. Who's going to go find these folks? Or just like, drives me crazy, but every time there's a raging river, somebody decides they need to ride the river. Well, they got to go out there and get in the river and drag them out. And They're risking their own life to help somebody that's,
Somebody that you don't even know. And that happens a lot of times, and you never see them again. Never, I've done it 18+ years, and there's no doubt I've changed some people's lives over the years. Never heard from them again. And we don't do it for that. We do it because we're very passionate about what we do. So that's all we're asking from y'all. And it would be a great start if you all could sponsor this much in our future meetings with the board of Mayor Alderman Irwin and also the county commission.
Okay. No, I appreciate it, and it was very educational. There was a lot of information
And keep
there,
in
but
mind what Mike said about the sponsoring this trail over here. I mean, we got a lot of members that we do a lot of things with, and a lot of times our training is, just to bond with our people, to learn about a new member or whatever, and that's great for us to go do that kind of work. So.
you build your team as a team. Yeah. Okay.
And I just want to follow up real quick. There's,
Oh, sorry.
you got your head of me too
Every
quick.
time you point at me, I think
She's
you're
trying to run me out. There's my contact information. Please write it down. Please call me if you need anything. And in closing, Ashley and I had this conversation a long time ago. Whatever, if the town needs anything from us, please call us. We talked about the festival, the Strawberry Festival, about helping out with that. Obviously, it didn't go. But going forward, that's what we're here for. We want the exposure. We want to help the town. And I've got spec sheets on that vehicle. If anybody would like one,
included in your packet,
I'm sorry.
included in your request.
I will. Yeah,
Attach it
definitely,
to that, and
definitely.
it'll be really meaningful right there all at one time.
Okay.
Is there more?
Nope, that's
Okay.
it. You can set it down.
Sometimes
If you'll
I'm ready to
eject
straighten
that
it
for
over.
me.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
We're gonna leave so we can cut down on the folks in here and.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, you do need to eject one of these before you yank it out of the computer. Thank you.
All right. Now is the portion of the meeting for citizen comments. Review citizens' comments previously submitted.
There are none.
None. Okay. Citizens in the room, would you like to go? Somebody submitted comments in the room? Comment cards? Any citizen want to take an opportunity? Okay. Are there any citizens watching virtually that would like to have a comment opportunity? We'll give you a minute to get unmuted, figure out how to unmute. Any comments from the citizens in the gallery? No?
I'm not paying anybody.
Okay.
You can see what I can see. Good.
Seeing none, we will move on. The next item on the agenda is an appointment of a Town of Unicoi board member to the Unicoi County Animal Welfare Board. As mayor, I am already on that board. Vice Mayor Cooper has been on that board as a Town of Unicoi resident, as well as a countywide representative. He resigned his countywide representative status. And now our board, Town of Unicoi, needs to appoint someone from our board back. I would like to recommend that we appoint Roger Cooper, Vice Mayor, to continue his duties as a representative of the County of Unicoi on the Unicoi County Animal Welfare Board. Do we need a vote or are we good? That's just my decision.
I
My
think,
decision. Yep, okay, we're good, we're good. Vice Mayor Cooper, you good with that?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, thank you. All right, old business, ordinance 2020-281. This is the second reading and a public hearing. Open the public hearing now.
Yeah, I'll recess the meeting. And open the-
Recess, okay, we're gonna recess the DMA meeting and we're gonna open a public hearing related to ordinance 2020-281. It is a second reading on an ordinance to establish the policy regarding Board of Mayor and Alderman schedule of compensation. This is a second reading, but just as a memory jogger, the impact is the mayor and aldermen shall be paid for regular monthly board meetings of the BMA as budgeted in our budget ordinance, regardless of the length of said meetings. Additional meetings of the board shall not be compensated unless said meetings extend for 4 or more hours. Anytime we are together under 4 hours, no extra. If we get together, in an example, a budget meeting, and it lasts more than 4, there will be additional compensation based on our budget. Okay? Motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Alderman Bennett.
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Alderman Ray,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Bullen.
Yes. Okay, we're still in a public meeting. This next ordinance that we are going to have a second reading on is ordinance 2020-282. It is approval where we had appealed a prior ordinance in the town of Unicoi, adjusting the schedule of the planning commission to meet the bylaws and prior ordinances of the town of Unicoi. It was just a logistical calendar date and time change, nothing more than a schedule change. But it had to be done as 2 readings, and it had to be done in a public hearing. So the end result is planning commission meetings are on the first Monday of every month. That's the end result of that. That's the impact of that ordinance.
I'll make the motion, we approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Anybody have any other questions or discussion? Okay, let's call for a vote.
Alderman Bennett,
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Alderman Ray,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Bullen.
Yes. Okay, that concludes the public hearing. And now we're going to resume our BMA meeting as it was. We have no unfinished business. We do have some new business. New business is related to resolution 2020-325, and you have that included in your packet. And it is related to some pending legislation. I'll just read the title. A resolution recognizing the necessity of fiber optic broadband and supporting legislation authorizing the expansion of urban fiber broadband service throughout Unicoi County. You have the resolution here in front of you. I will just say, after reading through, the Vice Mayor and I had some conversation. Broadband is a good thing for as many people who can get access to it. We are fortunate to have Irwin Fiber providing broadband out to as many people as they've been able to do. I think, and we can have Lee Brown here add on to this, but Lee, I'm just going to say, I think there's some pending legislation in Nashville that the approval of this resolution for us in support of you being able to extend broadband out into the rest of the town of Unicoi. We are in support of that. It all falls in together as a bigger plan to make sure we can get approval, because you're going to have to go to some other entities, right? Some other utility entities.
Yes.
And do some negotiations. But our support of this resolution, correct me if I'm wrong, our support of this resolution will also stand up in Nashville for some other resolutions associated with getting broadband out to many other citizens across the state. This is a bigger plan, yes? You got the floor. Go, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So, let me back up just for a second and just do a quick education. So here's our county map, and we'll start at Flag Pond and work our way out this way. So the red area is served by French Frost Electric Co-op. They have grant funding and should have fiber available to all of their customers in 2 years. So that's covered. The green area is served by urban utilities and urban fiber. The last part we lack is a little bit of limestone coal, and we'll build that out really soon. But then you have these three little pockets. The little yellow area is Simmerly Creek, Woodby Hill. They're served by Mountain Electric Co-op out of Roan Mountain. They have no intentions of getting into the broadband business. They have sent us a letter of support, much like your resolution we're asking for. There's about 125 homes here. The next little pocket is Southie. You drop over the hill, served by Elizabeth Electric. They have about no internet connection, as well as most of the people up here in Simmerly Creek, Woodby Hill. There's about 25 homes here. Out here on Marbleton, Amberwood, and around Wiseman's, there's about 135 or 40 homes out there. They probably have the best opportunity for internet connection there because Comcast and CenturyLink offer a reasonable good service. It's not equivalent to a fiber connection, but it's a whole lot better than the other two pockets. So we have, we feel like, there's a plan in place for all of the county, but these three pockets, and we don't think they should be left out. So we've asked, and we're asking Representative Holtzclaw, Senator Crow to sponsor, and I think you have a draft of that legislation that would allow energy authorities like we are to do this, but only do this in our county boundaries. So it's very prescriptive just for this. We're not interested in it. We're not in a turf war. We're trying to take care of our own in Unicoi County. So what we're asking y'all to do is to sponsor, pass this resolution that will give our representative and state senator, they know that you all, we've talked to you all, you support it. It's not something that's controversial within our community. So that's what we're asking for. One day we think that legislation will be passed that would allow providers to go outside of their county. But right now, all we want to do is take care of people in our community and give them the opportunity to have a good internet connection like everybody else has.
Is it not amazing though? This need right now has been huge for the past year. These kids that have needed internet, online, availability and parents. And that's oftentimes a struggle. It's a struggle for some of my students that live in Carter County. They just don't have good access to it.
And
it's critical today.
thank goodness, there's a plan in place that's going to be taken care of.
Well, good, because it's.
And we're pleased that we've got service available to the majority of our electric customers. One other little side note, when the decision was made that we're going to a virtual environment for education, it was asked, can we put some hotspots out? And so we put one up at the old Limestone Cove School, the fire department, the community center.
Yeah.
And so we already had a fiber up there and it was easy to put in.
And thank you.
And there's hotspots at all the schools that the schools already had in place. But we wanted to put something at Flag Farm. We don't serve that up there. We started on that the same time that we did that one, and that was last fall sometime, or back in the spring, not fall. But we got that thing in pretty quick. We started calling CenturyLink trying to get a connection up there at the school. We're going to pay for it and put it in so there'd be something up there. it got put in about 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's ridiculous. So anyway,
No, this is a good thing.
we respectfully request your all's approval of that resolution. It doesn't bind you to anything. It just helps us move this a little closer to the finish line. It's gonna take a lot of work to get it to the finish line, but I feel like our people in our community are worth it.
It's wonderful.
I agree.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion,
Second.
a second, a motion and a second. Any more questions or discussions?
Well, I will say that, as Lee knows, I have talked to several people, including him, and what he said is correct, and we have no obligation, other words, to support this legislation.
It just adds value to all our properties to have this access.
Okay, anything further? You had your hand up. You good?
Well, I was just gonna say, Lee, explain just a little bit about if we do have other options like CenturyLink. I mean, that's not going to, if this passes and moves forward and everything's clear, is that going to lock us into having the fiber optics, or we're gonna have those options to continue with whatever service provider we would choose?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I thought so, but I just wanted to clarify that, so,
Absolutely.
okay, all right. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, ready for the vote?
Alderman Bennett,
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Alderman Ray,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes,
Mayor Rowland.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you all very kindly.
thank you. And I was kind of muddling it up, but I think we got to the same point. But your graphic was so good. All right, thank you for coming up to help explain that too.
thanks, Lee.
Appreciate it. All right, resolution 2021-326. I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. 326, a resolution of easement and right-of-way by and between the town of Unicoi, hereafter referred to as the landowner, and Urban Utilities Authority, a municipal utility authority. There's lots of whereases and whereases, but now be it granted. Therefore, here's the impact. The right-of-way, grant the right-of-way, we will grant the right-of-way for relocation of power poles as requested by Urban Utilities as set forth in the attached approval. The mayor of the town of Unicoi and the city recorder are authorized to execute the deed of right-of-way or easement as necessary to execute this resolution. This resolution is associated with the construction by Tennessee Department of Transportation with our bridge right down here. And right here at between Jones Hardware and Town of Unicoi, Unicoi Town Hall. And 2 utility poles are going to need to get relocated. And to relocate those poles, the town of Unicoi is going to need to get easement or some right of way so those poles can be relocated. So DTOT, everything's backwards tonight. TDOT can continue their construction project down here at this intersection. Fair statement, 2 poles are going to need to be replaced.
Absolutely accurate. And our utilities kind of got rounded up for us after they made this request, some mapping, and they brought in their standard form for deed of easement. They also marked it out here in the yard. So if you look, there's already poles out there, and they've marked with an orange flag marker where it would go to. So basically, it's just a moving back. I went out and looked at them. I've got pictures on my phone if anybody wants to see them. So they're just moving it back as TDOT has requested to make more room.
Just relocate the poles.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
There we go. Any more discussion? All right, let's vote.
Alderman Bennett,
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Alderman Ray,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes,
Mayor Rowland.
Yes. Okay, there is now, on our agenda, it's not a motion, but it is a proposition. We need to complete, we got 2 things on the agenda tonight associated with our maintenance equipment building. This first one we're going to discuss is a shed extension that has been talked about and money has been budgeted for a number of years. And the shed has never been built. The purpose of this add-on shed would be to provide cover we have a tractor, we can store a truck up there. There's lots of equipment that needs to be undercover, mower, more blades, I think some implements and other implements. For right now, they're just out in the weather. And that's not being a good steward of our resources. So the guys have wanted to build it. I think there's been a lot of discussion about the guys building it. But I'll tell you what, between them having other projects to work on and COVID and timing and everything, we really felt like it was more wise if we just go ahead and bid that out and get that done and take that off of them, because it always got pushed to the back burner, and it's been pushed to the back burner for years. Okay, so it's not in the form of an ordinance, but it is an approval to send that out for bid. You can see the
It is already in the budget.
yeah, it's not the stipulations, but
Well, the
whatever that word
budget has
is.
$10,000 in it, and that was with the guys doing the work.
So let's go for bids and see what we get back. And we may need to make some adjustments, but we'll have all that information back as we look into the budget year. We're coming up budget year, so we'll have that information back. So we're gonna send it for bids.
I make a motion for approval for bid.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, then call for vote.
Alderman Bennett.
Yes.
Alderman Radford.
Yes.
Alderman Ray.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper.
Yes.
Mayor Bullen.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna step away from the shed and the maintenance building. We're gonna go back there, but we are now going to consider ordinance 2021-283. This is an ordinance for the town of Unicoi authorizing the enforcement of the rules of the road as set forth in Tennessee Code annotated 55-8-101 and TCA 5510-102. This is I'm gonna read the impact. Has determined that it's in the best interest of citizens of the town of Unicoi and the town of Unicoi Police Department be authorized to enforce the rules of the road as set forth in Tennessee Code annotated 55-8-101 and Tennessee Code annotated 55-10308 on the portions of interstate highway lying between or within, the territorial limits of the town of Unicoi. So Andy, if you would like to add anything to that, my understanding is this adoption allows our town of Unicoi police officers to make traffic stops out on the interstate.
We can make traffic stops now if we're passing through, but we can't technically work the interstate, set up for grants and stuff like that. Sometimes there's a lot of accidents and stuff on that section of interstate. And with the town size, something happened a long time ago where there was a state legislation stating that a town less than 10,000 people could not operate on the interstate unless the town grants an ordinance to make it happen. And we contacted the state, and with the research and stuff we did, we felt like this ordinance would be best for the town citizens, for us to work between 34 and 27.
Okay.
Because that's, that's Barber Town too, so.
Mayor,
Yes.
I can make a comment too on their behalf, the Unicoi PD. At this time in the past, I don't know, anything like the past year or two, while highway patrol is available, sometimes on these accidents and things that happen, it might be 2-3 hours for those people to get here to do that. So with them out there, being there right then, that would.
Readily available, yeah.
Because, there've been times when the county, they were busy and we'd respond to wrecks and we'd sit there for a while for a trooper, and we're perfectly capable, all of us, all the guys are perfectly capable working wrecks. We had the interstate cleared, dark state within 30 minutes. With this, we can get out there, we're not just gonna go stay on the interstate, but if we're on the interstate, see a traffic infraction, it's dangerous for people driving.
Right.
We can work.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Miss Finker.
Mayor Bullen, I wanted to speak just a second to this, and this is on the technical drafting level, not so much as regards the policy of doing it, but there's a number of authorities we've been examining recently about the wording of some of our process, and this of course will lead to authority to write citations on the interstate. And so for some reasons relating to some Tennessee Supreme Court rulings and also the Tennessee Court of Appeals. We need to add to that language as at the caption, and also down in the now therefore be it ordained paragraph, and pursuant to Town of Unicoi Code Section 15-201. So I want to suggest to the board that if it's the pleasure of the board to pass this, that you also authorize them to operate under our town code, not just under the state statute.
Okay, and that would need to be entered in the
In the
bold
caption,
title.
in the
Okay.
caption, and then also
then-
in the now therefore be it ordained paragraph.
Okay, I'll make a motion with the code for our town to be incorporated in that.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. Vote. Oh, yeah, anybody got any questions?
Question. Yeah, I'm always concerned about the manpower to do something like this. And so again, I love the fact that we could respond to an accident or anything like that, but also don't want to get too caught up in pulling our people, the police department out there, just for the purpose of
Yeah, it's like I said,
maintaining traffic.
we're not gonna go just sit on the interstate, that's not what we're out here to do. Our main focus is now and will continue to be patrolling back roads, keeping an eye on businesses and the citizens. But this opens up, because like right now, if there's a wreck on the interstate, right there at 32, we'd be right here right at it. Not saying we wouldn't respond anyway, but it's just better services and stuff for the people passing through on this area. If we go up there and we can go ahead and work it, be done.
Initiate the
Also,
process.
stuff for grants and we have state highways.
That's another advantage of that, yeah.
We're not just gonna go up there and sit. Now, if we have an opportunity for like an overtime, like for Tennessee Highway Safety and stuff like that, and we can have an extra officer out here, we can have somebody out here, and we can have somebody working interstate and an interdiction team with the CAF working with the county, trying to get drugs and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of drugs that pass through I-26 too.
Okay, any further discussion? Call for the vote.
Alderman Bennett,
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Alderman Ray,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Gordon.
Yes. Okay, now we are down to the item on our agenda that we had previously approved for there to be an amendment. And so we will pick that up now. Your practice, because that was an added item, does not have anything included for that. If I am not mistaken, Vice Mayor Cooper is going to share with the town what those discussions are.
Okay. As everyone knows, we've had people got COVID and getting over it right now. And come this Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, I came to realization that our maintenance building, which was built 3 years ago, has no utilities to it. The building is pre-wired for electricity. There's lights hanging down. There's receptacles on the walls. We have a bathroom stepped up, and all this was done 3 years ago. So without lights, without power, we have no heat. I just can't see asking our maintenance people to work in that environment. And so I'm going to ask this board to give me emergency funding to put electricity, water for the bathroom, sewer, and gas in to finish that out. We should have been finished 3 years ago. Now, to be sure, just so I'm keeping everybody legal, our municipal code states that the most the town can spend without board approval is $50. And I've got it right here. So at this time, I've asked the board to give me funds to go in and do those things to let our workers have a safe, warm environment to work in, and restroom facilities, because right now they have to go to the welcome center to use the restroom, and if they won't need power to run electric tools, they got to run extension cord over. And yet, if it's 30 degrees outside, it's 30 degrees inside the building, and you just cannot work in those conditions. So again, I'm asking, and if you ask me how much do I want approval for, well, I'm gonna say 10,000, but I don't think it'll be that much. I've been talking to the electric company, to the gas company. I've looked at sewer costs. Some things I can't tell until I actually have things done. But like I said, we've got a building that's pre-wired, yet no electricity. We've got a bathroom stuff done with no facilities.
It's
Got
non,
it.
it's
It's
non-functional.
nothing, yes. that's
It's
correct.
non-functional.
So that's why I'm.
It's no more than a barn.
That's right. So that's why I'm, and I'll be real honest, I got really bad today because it's been 3 years and we have a building wired with no lights, no power, no heat, no bathrooms.
Oh, I hate to admit, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So I'm gonna ask for 10, hope it comes in a whole lot less. And I'll try to get it done as quick as possible. So the men can have a good environment to work in, because I don't know how they're doing it now, to be honest. And, like I said, I'm trying to protect our workers. I don't want to put them in an environment that I would not want to be put into. And for many years, I've told my people that work for me, I won't ask you to do anything I won't do. And I don't want to go up there and work, trying to work with all those clothes on and stay warm. It's 30 degrees or less. So that's my piece to the board. I just ask that you all accept this emergency funding so we can get this job done.
Okay, I have a question about funding our city reporter, but I think if we move forward to discuss in terms of funding, we're gonna need a motion.
Yeah, you need a motion in a second.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, and that's with the $10,000, and he'll put it back in the budget if we don't use it all.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So now we're open for discussion. Not that the money's not there, but it's cash flow. Are we okay? I mean, is this something we can do in an
What I
emergency
would
funding?
recommend is there's 10,000 already budgeted in that line item anyway
Okay,
for the expansion.
okay,
Okay, when we find out about what the bid would be to do the expansion, at that point, we can do a budget amendment. We'll have to have 2 readings after we get a cost estimate on that.
okay.
So I would go ahead and use what's in that line item right now for that maintenance.
Okay, and so we can do a budget amendment. So the cash, the 10 is there. Hopefully we won't need it all, but if we need it all, we gotta do what we gotta do. Okay, all right. Now, that's my question. Any further discussion or questions? All right, let's take a vote.
Alderman Bennett.
Yes.
Alderman Radford.
Yes.
Alderman Ray.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper.
Yes.
Mayor Boyd.
Yes. Okay. We are down to reports, officers, committees. Ms. Wanda Radford, I'm going to usurp your report because we didn't meet.
No, that's good. New deadline, it was canceled. Yes.
Okay. Mountain Harvest Kitchen report is in the packet. And she also provided a lot of information to us at our last work session. So we've got a couple of good updates regarding the kitchen. Parks Rec Tourism, Ashley emailed us a packet yesterday, or days before. I think I got mine yesterday. Did anybody have any questions related to what she sent in email? I think it's in email. It didn't make it in our packet, I don't think. Okay, it came by email.
You actually received 2 reports.
Does she have a copy?
I don't know if she's got one with her or not.
I actually do not have
I
copies
just
with
have
me. I
mine.
do apologize. I was working on some other.
I just had mine through email.
And I will say too, Lee's on there. If anybody has a question on the kitchen, she's on virtual.
Oh, okay, yeah, Lee is available, if any of the BMA, we got a good report, you know, she gave us a lot of information in our work session.
I'd like to know about the compressor for the freezer. How did that come out and how much do we have to pay for that? And was it not under warranty?
Lee Manning, that's a question for you, could you hear that? About the compressor? There she is. She's unmuted now.
Lee, can you hear
You can't,
We can't
she's
hear
trying-
you.
She's trying to say something to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, better.
I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry. I thought.
Lee, this is
You were-
Judy. And I was wondering about the outcome on the compressor of the freezer. If that, if that compressor
Yeah.
was under warranty or not, what we had to pay.
So the work is going to be billed through the Tennessee Department of Agriculture grant. So it should be covered 100% through that grant.
Well, that really wasn't my question.
Oh, what is your question?
My question was it under warranty? And if not, why not? And how much does it cost?
The compressor was under warranty, but because it was not broken completely, we could not activate that warranty. So the repair that we did was a preventative repair. We have not been invoiced for the total cost yet.
So he didn't give you a price on the compressor?
I have an estimate around $2,800 for the repair. I don't have the final invoice yet.
Okay. Why would that have not have been under warranty?
Like I said, it is under warranty, but because it wasn't broken completely, we can't use the warranty. So we were replacing it because we know it's going to break eventually. Does that make sense?
No.
So we need to wait for it to break totally,
Right.
and then we can get it covered under warranty.
That's
Yeah,
probably how they worded the warranty.
yeah.
And I mean, the warranty would cover possibly the part, but I'm sure it wouldn't cover the labor to replace it. He also did some other work on the drain lines. Like I said, I don't have the full invoice to detail it though.
I have a question for Debbie. Debbie, this expense should be under repair and maintenance of the kitchen, not through a grant.
Now, if she can get it covered through the grant,
If we don't show it correctly, we're not gonna have a good reading on what a repair and maintenance cost is.
yeah, but she's talked with them and they can cover the repair under the,
Okay, you're missing my point. If you don't show where the stuff actually goes, you're not gonna have the true cost of repair and maintenance on something.
no, she would have to show it as an expenditure of the grant.
But are you gonna show it in repair and maintenance in the kitchen? We have a line item for repair and maintenance.
I know we do, but in order for her to get reimbursed through the grant, she would have to use the grant expenditure line. If I'm not mistaken, is that correct, Lee?
Yeah.
You'll have to show it as a grant item.
Somebody will have to
sorry,
remember
I-
a little red flag over
Yeah,
there under
yeah. I
maintenance.
totally
Yeah.
disagree.
Because it'll get
Well,
lost.
what happens is whenever you try to get grant reimbursement, we have to submit our report where she spent that money in that line item in order for them to reimburse us.
So it will come out of that and then go back in.
So what grant's it coming from?
That, what is the grant called, Lee? The Corona?
USDA.
It's the coronavirus agriculture supply and demand something. CASB is the name of the grant on the line item.
So how much money have you got left in that grant?
We haven't finished the expense for the cooler. I don't know offhand exactly how much.
Okay, my point is that when we start looking for next year's budget, when we go down through our repair and maintenance of the kitchen, that won't show up anywhere.
No, it won't.
So
But you
we're not-
just have to
we're not getting a
remember,
tr- we're
The
not getting a true
reporting's
figure.
not correct.
Yeah.
well, in order to get reimbursed through the grant line item, you have to put it in the report. You have to pay it out of that line item, get reimbursed.
We'll have to put a little red flag by something to remember. I'm sure Roger won't forget.
You got that right.
You
I mean-
will remember.
I mean, you can always put a note in a line item
Put a note, yeah.
that,
Put a note.
you
at
know,
least.
there was repair X amount of dollars for a piece of equipment that was actually paid by the grant.
All you gotta do is show the money, the cost, and then asterisk down there at bottom, put covered through grant.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right, just tag something. Okay, yeah. All right, thank you, Lane. Anything else? Not exciting. Okay. Next, we have police department report. It is included in the packet. I think, oh, there he is. I thought he had stepped out. Does anybody have any questions related to police department report?
I just think they're doing a good job, and I've been talking to them about every other day, at least every other day, if not sooner, right? And
Yes, sir.
so I congratulate them on doing a good job.
Yes. Is your cabinet put together yet?
They're locking. Yes, they're all set up. We appreciate the maintenance department.
Good, good, good.
It's really great.
Well, it was a good indoor activity
Yes.
during all this yucky weather. Okay. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Municipal port on the next page. This format looks different. Is this a different format?
On municipal court? No, same one.
I don't know. It looks different.
That just breaks down the cost. For the first fee.
Okay. And then there's detailed municipal report with the violations. Okay, that were attached in your packet as well. I've had a note passed to me that History Committee would like to do a presentation tonight. So before we get to the reporter's report, let's have a representative of History Committee share report. Any part of the floor you want. You can have. Back there, up here, wherever you feel most comfortable.
Okay. Give everybody. That's just a little bit of, kind of a history lesson. We discussed at our meeting that, we want to do something for Easter, but with the COVID, we probably will not be able to do the Easter egg hunt. But we would like to try to do a drive-by, like we did like Halloween, and just have like a little bag of candy or something, that have eggs and a thing, just to hand out to the kids, so they have something. That let them know that we still, think about them. We also wanted to, we also talked about a basic program, and we tried to be there and, people come in and we can, a couple of days a month, start out with and see if we could at the cabin and let them be there and, show people around if they come in. And if we can do, maybe do like a little small library. I've got books that was donated that we could do like a library so many hours in one day. So people to come in and get a book, history book. And we also discussed doing a marker for to put it near the cabin about the Battle of Flint Creek at Rocky Fort, because it's John Severe mentioned his men being there around at the area where the cabin's at, and I think that would help with the history.
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. There, you know, one of those like state of Tennessee historical.
Yeah, it would.
There's a process, I'm sure, involved in
Yeah,
that.
it's less than 150 words or maybe 100 words, just stating that he had kept along the creek there at some area, and that would, and then there's other places in the Unicoi that that we could put up marker, try to get a marker for.
I think there was conversation about that a long time ago. even before you.
Parks and Rec Department has a file on it. It looks like a lot of information was pulled together. Nothing was ever, no action.
I don't
was
think they
ever
ever
taken.
got followed through on, but I think the district committee looked at that a long time ago.
Yeah,
That's been in conversation
trying
for
to get things,
years.
trying
It
to
just
get it done and get people to do it. But
made it. But, yeah, everybody recognized John Severe's name.
You do understand that the legend has that John Sevier massacred like 176 Indians.
Over here. Or down in
It's Flint Creek Battle.
Flint Creek.
I just wanted you to understand what that was.
You know, I had Georgia history.
Okay.
Well, I didn't have Tennessee history, I'm sorry. And I'll talk about the Battle of Peachtree Creek, but yeah, no, yeah. I mean, those are good stories. It's rich, that's rich, so, yeah. Yeah, I don't even, know figure out how to go about that. Anyway,
The search team spent a whole day up there with
Bloody
people
Creek.
from the state of Tennessee
Mhm.
looking for bones. Last fall.
yeah, those docents, that's quite a time commitment. I mean, it might be. I mean, that's quite a commitment. I'm just saying, I've been to those things where they have people dressed and, well, you couldn't do it every day, but you have to figure out a way to do it. Well, it's kind of like what goes on Heritage Day. But, yeah. I don't know, Ashley and I've already talked about what the school system was gonna do, but, you know, if they're back in school.
The
I don't know what they're
history
gonna do.
decided that they were not interested in virtual, correct?
Yeah, I don't think so.
They are interested in holding the event if the pandemic is under control and if kids are back in school at that point. I know what you said about teachers wanting to keep the kids in school once they get there.
Well, I think
I'm not
they're
sure
gonna be,
about
I think they're gonna be told to keep them in school.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially Governor Lee's coming out with some recommendations for how to get through the rest of this educational environment. And I just think principals are being told they can go with kids, you know? So, I mean, to load them up and busting them back and busting them here and busting them there, there's 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? And in school, virtual might be more likely. That was my only suggestion. Anyway, there's time to plan all that. Lisa, I know there's been conversation with Ashley, and I'll tell you, we're working on our facility use plan. And I had sent it out to the board yesterday, whatever. It's long, it's a lot for y'all to look at. We won't be able to start looking at it, probably to consider it until next meeting, but it's something we need to get done. The history committee has obvious option to reserve that cabin. Repeated reservations are there. I have put into the ordinance that the board reserves the right to waive fees or adjust fees or this or that. Okay, we absolutely reserve the right to do that. And I know the history committee has been very committed to the cabin. So I don't want the history committee to be afraid to want to use the cabin. Okay, I think the town has to, quote unquote, take possession of the cabin back. It belongs to the citizens of the town. But it doesn't mean the cabin is not available for y'all that have been so involved with the cabin to be able to continue to do things at the cabin. It's not like that gets cut off. I don't want there to be a perspective there that y'all aren't going to be able to do anything.
Can I make a comment
Yes.
there? Whatever we do at the cabin is not for us. We do nothing for ourselves. at the
Exactly.
cabin. Everything we do at the cabin is to benefit the community. So there's never been a time that we have had a party or that we have had anything at the cabin that was not directly related to the benefit of it.
And Claudia, I appreciate that. And I had a poor choice of words. Well, I'm very well, maybe you say poor choice of words, and I'm sorry for that.
No,
My
I
verbiage
just
might have been
wanted to make sure that
not
was clear to the board that maybe
as
isn't
positive as it should have
familiar
been.
as you are, because I know you're very familiar with what we've done there. But You know, when we use the cabin and if we use the cabin, it's really just for meetings to put together events for the community. Or preservation of the cabin, or improvement of the cabin, or purchasing. We talked about purchasing, that we purchased several things for the cabin, the corner cabinet, we purchased a secretary and different things that we wanted to bring it up to an original condition, as far as furnishings were concerned. So those are the kinds of things we do at the cabin. And I just want to make that.
Well, and I may have a poor choice of words, so I'm sorry for that. I apologize if I had a bad choice.
I did.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Anyway, so the relation, I mean, the cabin is still here. It's not going anywhere.
And we're very happy that.
It's here. It's not going anywhere.
We're happy that the
How-
town is taking an interest in.
How we access it, how we use it, how other groups or other citizens are able to use it, that may start to look a little different. But it's not going anywhere. It just may look a little different. Okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you. And those are good ideas. Those are neat ideas. Y'all have been working. You've been brainstorming.
And one thing they worked hard in that is it costs the town anything as far as hours or. And
Well,
they've
they
always done
actually
it.
has given a lot of hours. There is a lot of time commitment. Town employees, Trish and her.
Yeah, as far as the events though, for them,
So-
at Winger, it's been a lot less, and they've got the passion for their heart, I think.
They do. They definitely have that passion. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. City Recorder's report. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, it's in the packet, if anybody has any questions. Lois, would you like to give the update on the RW bridge?
Sure. What you put in here is exactly accurate, just to update that a little bit. Let me cut off this mess. To update that a little bit, we have one more deed signed, ready to be recorded. I think she's cutting me a check to get that recorded. Then we're waiting on the signatures on one final deed and it'll be done. So looks like we will not have, and I didn't ask to put on the agenda tonight, any need for authority to do a condemnation. So once again, the citizens of Unicoi are stepping up and doing their part to contribute to the town's betterment and improvement of roads and so forth. And I appreciate that. There's not very many municipal attorneys in the state that can say that our town folk give the rights of ways that are needed rather than having to condemn them and take them from them.
Related to that was the discussion of that tree. Did that tree ever get down? Terry said he put a tree down, that one of the residents up there.
I think so.
I get, because we never heard anything more about it. So I'm assuming it got down.
Okay.
Okay, all right. just-
Lois, you think that'll be finished for the next meeting?
I think that the deeds will be signed. I had promises of them already being signed, and people, it's not on these folks' agenda to do it today, and people get busy and it doesn't get done. But yeah, I do think that all of them will be signed and it'll be turned back into Tysinger. And then I think they said about a 50-day lead time on the stuff they have to do to make the bid go out. So next 2
We're
to 3
still in the
months.
spring.
Mhm.
Still in the spring.
Okay, our audit should be ready.
Yes, where they're wrapping up, they should be here, on the February agenda to give the audit. And, the one thing I had been asked to do, we've been doing line item moves, in the budget. So, just so this is in the minutes, our election, fees were more than what we had budgeted by about $532. So I did move money from the legislative department from travel to cover that. We also had some additional COVID-related costs, which is, part of this that we had to pay for in the month of December. Also, in our police department, we had some overages there as well. Vehicle motor repair, we had budgeted $2,000, and as of December, we were at $4,600. So we increased that to cover the overage there. We took that out of police vehicle purchase, which we had budgeted $15,000 for vehicle purchase, so we took that out of there. And then for January, Roger and I looked at it today, it's gonna be over several $1,000s for January in motor vehicle repair. So these are just line item moves that I did in the month of December, and had the mayor sign. As she is authorized to move at least up to $25,000, which we've not had anything that large, but anyway, I've been asked to have that.
Communicate those things.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. That keeps everybody up to speed and puts it in the minutes, so you're good. Okay, Horton Road, we're gonna plan to meet next
We're
week.
gonna, no, in the morning.
Oh,
He's
no,
coming.
you're
He's not
committed?
confirmed
Okay.
yet, but I will text you. I'll call him
That's
first thing in the morning because I just left him a message.
That's perfect. To try to make some plans for Horton Road up this way is horrible.
Yeah.
So anyway, let me get that worked on. All right.
I'll say one thing, I did talk to Singer about Massachusetts. They're a little bit behind. He is working, trying to put something proposal together for the town on testing and see what we have to do to correct that road. So hopefully we'll have that by next week.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, good. Because we need to know, we need to make an application
Right.
for some support for that. Yeah, okay. Good. Okay, financial report.
Okay, just a quick review of our general fund cash. We are at $1,029,000. We do have a CD that's about 114,000 that I would take off of that amount, because we're just looking at liquid cash, and I would take off the Jack Snyder 123,000 that's in the trust. So to come down to an amount that I would consider liquid would be 915,788, and that's for the general fund. And on our revenues and expenditures, our budgeted amount for revenue is $2,635,000, and we are at year-to-date $1,040,000. Our income still looks, really good, revenue and different taxes, and not seeing a decrease. Obviously, with another stimulus money going out, hopefully our tax revenue will stay up as well. Our expenditures came in, budgeted was $2,916,272. For December, they were $87,573, and year-to-date, $634,902. So our income for the month of December is $64,304, and our year-to-date is $405,580. I've provided you with a line item budget for each GL account and where we are month to date and year to date and what we have left in the budget line item.
This is through December.
Through December.
Yep.
One of the things I found interesting is our revenues or local sales tax is going up and down. We had like a big month, then it dropped down to 60 something. Now we're back up to 95 or 96. Maybe it's going up and down.
But we should be able to increase when we get the Walmart money for the December. That don't come in.
That'll be next
February.
month.
January.
We'll be 2 months behind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that should be there too.
Right.
But it has gone up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think somebody said probably last year during the budget discussion, because our revenue is not necessarily restaurant heavy, we probably fared better than a lot of other places. Because I think the restaurants really took a hit, the people that were budgeting on that kind of money. I mean, we have restaurants, but we aren't necessarily restaurant heavy in our sales tax.
And I think also there was someone that did some packaging that they collected tax for us that was mailed out, was a business they did for maybe 3 months, and that really increased too.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
You made mention maybe in last month's meeting that this capital outlay note, a rural development sewer bond,
Mhm.
you might could get that rate changed. Have you done anything with that?
Well, actually, I have gotten rates on the 2 capital outlay notes. and we really won't even have to do anything except let them just go ahead and redo it because we're not changing the principal and we're not changing the maturity date. So the bank can come back to us and say, okay, well, I'll lower your rate, and we won't have to do anything with the comptroller's office. We won't have to submit any forms or anything like that. So we will go ahead and do that. And I think that between the two notes, I'm thinking the savings was going to be about $8,000 interest. As far as this sewer bond, the bond fund is very perplexed about the sewer debt that we have. Now, obviously, I was not here when that happened, and I believe it happened in 2007. We do not have the asset, okay? The utilities, yeah.
But we have the debt.
We have the debt. And I don't know the story, all the details behind that. And I guess I would have to call maybe Larry Ray to find out exactly how that came about. Because it's a little concerning to them to do a refund on a sewer bond.
Or a refi, when we don't have the asset to back
And
it.
and you don't have the asset to, you know, so they've not really ran into that situation before. Now, they will investigate it and maybe explain to the comptroller's office the situation, but I have to find out what the details are and how that really all
Be
came
able to tell
about.
the story, yes.
Right.
Could you?
So right now, I think it's at 4.375. And obviously, interest is a lot lower than that, and it would save us a lot of money. But I don't know if it's gonna be, if we're gonna be able to do it.
I get that.
Now, the other two capital outlay notes, that's not a problem. We can go right ahead and do that.
Our interest, whether they lower it or not, it is so much higher. The amount per month is so much higher on the interest than actual principal. Or is there any way we can pay more on the principal per month?
We could, yeah.
We can look at that.
We're not limited.
Are you talking about on the sewer bond?
Yes.
No, I don't think we're limited. I think there's a balance of maybe 800,000, something like that, which is a lot for a town our size. And it would be nice if we could refund that bond.
Well, see, some of these bonds, these that towns do, you know, they sell them and these investors, they want that money forever and a day and they're guaranteed. And I didn't know if we could pay this down, if we
Do
could
it in
pay more.
prepayment, yeah.
Yeah, if we could pay like every 6 months, pay more, or like we're getting ready to do a new budget. If we budget more money to pay it down, so it don't take us till my grandchild graduates from college.
Well, I think it matures at what, 2045 or something?
I mean,
like
it's
that?
forever.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know the details behind it, but I have talked to her, actually, I talked to her today, the lady that's over the bond fund.
I've never seen a loan in my life that the interest was more than the principal per month.
Yeah.
In my life.
I'm
I've never
not
seen
sure.
one that bad.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
As
why.
much of that detail that we can have as possible when we start
When
talking
we,
about
yeah,
it.
but while she's talking to
Yeah.
them, maybe.
Yeah, because she asked me to find out as much as I could about it, and I'll try to do that. And because she said it would probably be better if they went, and we may have to go to the comptroller's office to present it to them as to why this is the way it is. Now, see, I had a question from the comptroller's office about it when they did our budget. You know, why do you have this debt, but you don't have the asset? And see, I was told that it was a maintenance issue. They didn't want to have the maintenance of the sewer lines. They didn't want to have the responsibility of the maintenance of the
The
sewer
Urban
lines.
Utilities does all the billing and everything. They do everything.
I'm a little, I was gonna speak to it on my own, but even before you asked, but I'm a little, what I'm hearing about the dates is a little bit perplexing to me, because that's not exactly the way I remember it. But regardless of what the date is, I think that the issue was didn't have a sewer department, and we didn't want to set up the,
We didn't have a maintenance department.
exactly. At the time that was done, we didn't own a shovel.
Right.
So I know that was part of my pitch to the comptroller's office when all of this was approved. And Urban Utilities said, because they were already serving these customers, that they were willing to take the sewer and run it, but they wanted to own the asset. So that's how it got to be in that situation, was rather than us budgeting and developing a department to run the sewer, Urban Utilities took it and ran it.
And we got a lot of grants too.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we got grants.
And
that-
we, as a small town, was able to get the grants that Urban Utilities couldn't
Right.
get.
And I was thinking that went back to the original sewer bond, and that was the one that was outstanding, but I think I heard you say 2007. So I don't know which bond runs together, because it was done in segments. And I thought the one that ran so long was the original sewer bond, which cost the most, but I may have them backwards in my mind. But that's how it got to be this situation, is we, at that time, the town did not want to develop its own sewer department and pay someone to run it and pay to maintain it and acquire all the resources that you need to do that. So Urban Utilities was willing to take it. And of course, at that time, our income was much less than it is now as well. Our income's grown over those years. So that's what the issue
We
was.
couldn't have built a sewer plant or none of that. In order to do this, we had to
Right.
have the help of Urban Utilities.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna leave that for our budget.
Yeah.
And figure out how to handle that. Thank you for that.
But that, if we
though.
can
That
get
helps
this
explain it.
information though, that'll
Yeah, and I think
maybe change our numbers.
it's positive.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing, if we take a look at the statement of revenues for the kitchen. For the month of December, the revenue was 3,370. Total expenditures were 63,433. Year to date, total revenue is 29,576. Total expenditures, 189,535. What I wanted to add to that is there's been two requests for reimbursement. It's not reflected on the December numbers because it was just requested in January. But the coronavirus agricultural grant for the freezer, the revenue that's been requested for a reimbursement, which is 100%, is $33,875. And then on the MHK power grant, the request is $44,794.91. So both of those together is $78,669.91. So that will be added to the revenue for the month of January. We'll do it as a receivable unless we go ahead and actually get the money in the month of January. So you're going to be adding back to the revenue about $79,000 in the month of January.
That makes that look a little better.
Yeah. And then if you want to take a look at the local option sales tax for the 2021 year, we're at $487,256. And the previous year, we had $858,823. And then on the 18-19 year, we had $770,317. So you can see where our December is a lot higher than last year, the previous year, and then even higher than the 18-19 year.
Is that 2.95, 2.75? What is our local? Is it 2.75?
Okay, and then if you take a look at our state shared, our December came in at $30,465, which is higher than the previous 2 years. So year to date, we're at $173,493 for state shared sales tax. So far, I feel like we're doing very well.
Freedom to get some of it down. All right, motion to approve the financial report.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
all vote. Oh, Bill.
Alderman Bennett,
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Alderman Ray,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Bull.
Yes. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I think we're down to announcements. I think Ms. Kessler has some.
Planning Commission will meet Monday, February the 1st, 2021. Summers Taylor has asked to have on the agenda to rezone the property from A1 to heavy industry. They've also asked to have their site plan approved. That notice will go in the paper, and I will reference those two things in the newspaper notice. I'm going to ask you, do you want to have that here
For people to view.
We'll do open and Zoom, but do you want the location to be here?
Oh, you think it needs to be? you
Well,
think
I
we
don't
need to go
know what
visitors
kind
center
of
'cause of
crowd.
volume.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I think we probably ought to plan for that planning commission up there.
How many are we allowed to have in the
Yeah, I
meeting?
started saying somewhere.
Well, they're still doing the number of 10 people. But it's hard to get social distancing in here with 6 feet. But it's still 10 people as far as I know.
So we can't have 50 people up there in that buffalo room.
No.
But we have more than 10 in here
Yeah,
right
that-
now.
Our capacity here is 35, but if you have to social distance, you really can't get 35 people in here. You can't hardly get.
So what do we do about that? How do we?
I put 69 students in one together. Don't ask me how to do it.
Yeah, we
I've been
had,
granted an exception.
we had about 20 people in here when we started.
Yeah. I don't think those are legal laws. I think they're recommendations, they're mandates, and I'm a woman, so I don't have to abide by them.
You're a what?
Woman, so only the men have to abide by mandates.
What if we require everybody to wear a mask? And just say,
We need to check on that, Kathy, on what our limit is, and require anybody to wear a mask that comes in the building. We got the signs up here on this one.
but whatever's legal, anytime to have up there should be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's illegal to have more than 10.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nobody,
Yeah.
nobody around here's getting arrested for having more than 10. Maybe in Minnesota, whatever. We're gonna look at it. We'll look at it. When does this have to go out? Help me know.
I've got to
the
get it in
deadline.
the paper tomorrow. I've got to send it to the paper tomorrow in order for it to get in, because the meeting's the 1st.
So in a regular meeting, how many fire marshal crew?
I don't know what the Buffalo.
I don't know about it there. I'm not sure.
It's bigger
Ashley,
than
do you
here.
know?
I
how many?
want to say it's around the 50-something mark, 40-something, like 48, 50.
'Cause this
I
is
think,
35.
but Roger, we looked at that.
Supposed to be.
Remember seeing that sign on the wall?
Yeah.
You remember what it said?
So it's
Now,
about-
I know that when we had the governor here, we had more than 100 people packed in that room. There was standing room only, and it was bumper to bumper. We obviously can't do that with COVID, but I think and it may be over the 100 mark. I'll just have to look at it. I'm sorry.
I doubt it's 100. I'd say 50 to 60.
Yeah, the way those people were in there that day would be very irresponsible.
Oh, no, we couldn't do that now. No. And I'm gonna be honest, if we do that meeting, well, we don't, we'll do them here, never mind. Okay. I was gonna suggest we have cleaning days on Mondays, and since the meeting's on Monday, I would almost suggest that we move our cleaning day to Tuesday, just to, if we're gonna have that many people in there, just to kind of do a deep clean the next day.
It's just routine. Anybody have it on Monday? that
No,
Monday?
Rotan has not, no meetings have been taking place at the Buffalo Room, by Tanasi, Rotan, anybody.
Okay,
Since I can always.
I may be totally wrong, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't think we're gonna be able to keep people from coming to this meeting. This is a heated issue. There's a lot of passion behind it. I don't think, even if we told them we were gonna limit the number of people in there and, you know, gotta wear a mask and this, that, and the other, I don't think it's gonna prevent people from coming. I think that's how passionate people are about it. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
From the telephone calls we've been receiving and from.
Okay, we have to have people wear masks. I don't want to be in there if people don't have masks on.
Okay, I know that's fine.
You know, I ain't got one get you. I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, there's no one here without a mask tonight. I think most people are aware that you're gonna be in a gathering.
There is also the possibility for a little bit of overflow, not much, but a little bit into the conference or the lobby, if you wanted to use it, because there is a TV in the lobby.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So,
That
I mean,
helps
I could
spread
put,
people
I
out a
could
little
put the
bit.
live YouTube up on that lobby screen to help extend, I mean, there's not a lot of space in there, but it's a little more than.
But
you know.
even 10 more people there would be helpful, 10 out of that other.
But would they be able to speak though? Would it be where they could mute and unmute or say their,
Well,
they
they
have a
may
comment?
They might need to rotate through. Some people just want to be there to see it.
I don't have the equipment for them to do that through that screen. All they could do is watch live. Now, maybe we could, what did you say, filter them into the room? To see?
Yeah, just like filter and process them into
Have
the.
them, if they want to speak, they can come and someone else that's already spoken could go back and watch it.
I don't know what else to.
Another thing that is helpful with the issues about COVID is to circulate air. And so it might be possible to have fans that would pull outside air in or vice versa, inside air out. Because it does make a difference, I think, about the contagion if the air is circulated. So there's a possibility that some people would want to watch from outside the doors adjacent to the Buffalo Room.
I just had an idea. What if we asked to use the Unicoi elementary gymnasium, open it to the public and not have it on Zoom? And let it be public and it's huge. If we have a little crowd, we got a little crowd. If we got a huge crowd, we got all kinds of space and we don't have to argue with nobody.
Well, can Debbie set up her equipment there where, get her minutes and all, for her?
Well, I mean, it'd just be like a meeting like we used to have. It wouldn't be on Zoom. It would just be a
Oh, so
public
We
meeting.
can still set it up on Zoom, even in
Yeah,
another
we
location.
wouldn't
I've got,
even use
we were
Zoom
doing it
calls.
before we had this fancy stuff. The problem is, when we called the school to ask them for use of their facility for some events this year, they said because of COVID, their facilities were closed down to everybody for everything. So we might be able to pull some strings and get that taken care of, but I know that they were not allowing us to use it for anything this past year.
But Debbie's saying too, she's got to have that in the paper
Yeah, I've got to
tomorrow.
have it to the paper. I need the,
Okay.
information on the meetings as well.
Is it by 5? Is it, do you have, who are you working with?
Jana,
Okay. She should be-
usually Friday morning is, when they want to have it. To get it in the Irwin record, and I feel like it needs to go in the Irwin record.
Well, there's been a
So,
lot of changes with the Irwin records and things. I know she used to be able to push that deadline till 5. I don't know if she can now because of some of the changes that have happened. So I can get a hold of her tonight, Jana, and see exactly what time her strict final deadline is.
February
Is that okay?
1st, Feb 1st. I'm
And I
sorry.
can have those things set up for you first thing. That's not, my side of that's not a problem.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna text him right here, but I
He's
didn't want to be
gonna be
rude,
close. Is that okay?
but, I know the schools had some events, but I think they're just very select.
We don't want to leave anybody out that needs to say their piece. And this, ever how it ends,
This
we
is
just,
heated.
we need to let people speak. And, we
I
don't,
want, I do, I want, every citizen wants to say something, and I want every citizen who just wants to be there to hear it, be there to hear it. I mean, that's the citizen involvement that,
this don't affect me personally, but I've been in similar situations and I think each citizen should be able to speak.
Oh, we could filter them through the Buffalo Room. I mean, you filter them in one at a time and they don't get to stay for the whole thing. I mean, that, you could do that up there. We've got some holding areas.
Bylanes. Well, at one time before, we'd even talked about way early, talking about meetings, setting at least one computer up that was logged in, that different people could click on, unmute and be on the camera. You know what I mean? It's like having a station where people could just come in and it'd take more people, but that could be here and they could be up there, or we could be here and they could be up there. Like a station.
Like if we keep
I don't
it here,
have
then we
equipment
could
to
have
do the
them
same
up there.
building.
Yeah.
But at 2 locations, we would have the equipment.
But it would have to be addressed in the paper that way also.
I know.
I see that would be the essence of time.
And the more words she puts in, her cost will go up.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, extremely.
Well, we can say it will be available, if you don't want to be at home and log in with Zoom, you can come to the visitor center and be logged in via Zoom and make your comments. Can I sleep on it? My head's not working.
Let's see if he answers us.
Well, I can call John too. but-
Well, also, I just want to remind everybody that the BMA will be Thursday, February the 18th at 5:30. And there will be no BMA work session for the month of February. Also, we tentatively looked at the budget workshop and we're looking at April the 23rd, 2021, 10 o'clock to 5. And April the 30th, 2021.
23rd and 30th, those are 2 Fridays.
And the 30th.
And the 30th, at what time?
10 to 5.
10 to 5, okay.
No breakfast, but lunch and snacks.
Y'all will have lunch.
Bring your own coffee.
Bring your own coffee.
And we may do this at the Buffalo Room as well. So,
That's
do you
good.
think that works? Okay, for the workshop.
We wouldn't go along the country that way.
Yeah, it's hard to work when there's a lot of things going on.
If we're through, I'll move
Good
to
answer.
adjourn.
His response was absolutely.
We
Okay.
can meet at the school.
Okay, good, yeah.
You hear what he said?
Mhm.
So do you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's,
I'll read my text to you, just so you'll know what I
I'm calling them.
know. Is it possible for town of Unicoi to use Unicoi gym next Monday for a planning commission meeting reference asphalt plant? I said, I need to know now. He said, absolutely not a problem.
Okay, so we'll have to coordinate getting chairs and stuff like
I
that
didn't say
now.
what time, but
Okay, and I'll send them another one to back that up. Thank you, Bart. Yeah, because we'll have to coordinate with just getting chairs and stuff. They're not doing anything. Teachers are there, I guess, but not
Everybody's there except the students.
except students.
Uh-huh.
I've talked to John about our whole town, and he wants to be a partner with our town.
I know, I just don't want, all of us don't need to
I know you
do it.
know.
I'll be glad to turn it.
I know you know that, but I was just
Oh, yeah.
saying this for everybody else. You know?
Well, okay, what else? Any other things? I'm sorry. It's hot in here.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
And COVID's.
A second motion.
All right,
to
anything
adjourn.
else?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Who made the motion to adjourn?
Yay.
Wanda?
I seconded it.
Yeah.
You can,
Second.
it's past my bedtime.
Yes.
It's past my